Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm so incredibly thrilled to have you here for today's explainer, because honestly, we are unpacking something truly extraordinary. We're looking at the ultimate rulebook for the United States, the U.S. Constitution. I mean, this is a document that literally shapes the daily lives of millions of people. So if you're ready to learn and really master the mechanics of this incredible text, do me a quick favor. Drop a like on this explainer and make sure to subscribe so you never miss out on our structured deep dives. All right, let's get right into it. Right off the bat, if you look at the introduction to the Constitution, which is a section known as the Preamble, it kicks off with three of the most famous words in human history, we the people. And let me tell you, those three words are doing a lot of heavy lifting. They prove, right away on page 1, that the United States government exists by the people and for the people. It's this incredibly bold statement that the citizens are the true source of power. Okay. Let's dive into this. To really understand this amazing document, we're going to break it down into 6 steps. The highest law, the 7 articles, the Bill of Rights, expanding American freedoms, the Constitutional Convention, and finally, celebrating citizenship. All right, jumping right into step 1, the highest law. So here is the absolute core concept you need to grasp. The Constitution is the highest law in the land. Period. It's the foundational set of rules that explains exactly how the entire U.S. government operates and what rights citizens actually possess. And here's why that is a truly massive deal. Every single law passed in the United States must follow this exact document. It is the gold standard, and literally all other laws are supposed to support it. Moving right along to Section 2, the 7 articles. Immediately following that famous preamble, the Constitution lays out exactly 7 articles. You can basically think of these as the strict operating manual for the country. These 7 articles explicitly dictate the rules the United States government has to follow just to run properly. It's highly structured, and it very clearly defines the architecture of the nation's leadership. Okay, on to Section 3. And this is a really fun one, the Bill of Rights. Now, you definitely know the First Amendment. It's incredibly famous. It packs in the freedom of speech, freedom to practice whatever religion you want, freedom of the press, and the freedom to assemble, to gather together. That is a huge deal. Then, of course, we have the Second Amendment, which gives citizens the right to bear arms. And just to be crystal clear here, this amendment is about having the freedom to carry a weapon, not the literal arms of an actual bear, as fun as that visual might be. Then, for the Third Amendment, the government cannot just put troops and soldiers in people's homes without their consent. To really understand this one, we have to look back at the historical reasoning. See, during the Revolutionary War, British soldiers were allowed to basically force their way into colonists' homes and just stay there, even if they absolutely weren't wanted. It deeply bothered the colonists, understandably, because it was incredibly unfair. So this amendment ensured that being forced to house soldiers would forever be a thing of the past. Now, what's really interesting is how the 4th, 5th, and 7th Amendments bundled together to establish some crucial legal concepts. The 4th Amendment protects your private property by requiring a warrant, meaning a judge actually has to agree before police can search your home. The 5th Amendment gives us that famous pop culture phrase, I plead the 5th, guaranteeing your right to stay silent in court so you aren't forced to testify against yourself. And the 7th Amendment ensures that in civil cases, a jury, meaning a group of regular, everyday citizens, not just a judge, gets to decide the case. This whole setup brilliantly illustrates the constitutional steps of a fair judicial process. Under the 6th Amendment, if you're ever accused of a crime, you're guaranteed a speedy and public trial. The government can't just delay your case for no reason and lock you away forever. It also guarantees your right to a provided lawyer if you can't afford one yourself. Then, the 8th Amendment steps in to protect citizens from cruel and unusual punishment, and it protects against excessive bail. And bail, by the way, is simply a payment people can make to go home while they wait for their trial to start. I absolutely love the contrast between these next 2 brilliant amendments that round out the Bill of Rights. The 9th Amendment basically says we have rights that aren't even explicitly written down. For example, you have the right to go outside right now and build a snowman. It's not listed anywhere in the Constitution, but it's still your right. Versus the 10th Amendment, which is this powerful reminder that America is a republic. It flat out states that any power the Constitution doesn't specifically give to the federal government belongs directly to the states or to the people. All right, moving to Section 4, expanding American freedoms. So the Constitution is absolutely a living document. We have 27 total amendments today. It didn't just stop growing in 1787. Over time, it expanded rights to more and more American citizens. The 13th Amendment is just monumental, as it officially outlawed slavery. The 15th Amendment gave African Americans the right to vote, and the 19th Amendment ensured that women also had the right to vote. These later amendments profoundly, fundamentally shaped who we are as a nation today. Which brings us to Section 5, the Constitutional Convention. Let's talk about the origin story. To set the scene, we have to travel all the way back to May of 1787. A group of leaders gathered for the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia at a place called Independence Hall. And here's a really fantastic fun fact for you. It is the exact same incredible room where the Declaration of Independence was signed. If you ever want to connect with history, you can literally still go visit Independence Hall and tour this very room today. So, who was actually in the room? Well, George Washington served as the president of the convention. In fact, there's a famous statue of him right outside Independence Hall today. Benjamin Franklin was also there, looking very comfortable right at the center of the convention's iconic historical paintings. But the man who had the absolute biggest overall impact on the writing of the document itself was James Madison. Because of his massive contribution to drafting the rules and the overall structure of the government, James Madison became known as the father of the Constitution. And this founding father would, of course, later go on to become the 4th president of the United States. And finally, Section 6, celebrating citizenship. The Constitution was officially finished and signed on September 17, 1787. But tracking the timeline of the holiday is actually kind of surprising. You'd think they made it a holiday right away, right? But it took quite a while. In 1940, Congress set up a holiday in May called I Am an American Day. It actually wasn't until the year 2004 that Constitution Day officially became recognized as a federal holiday. And when that finally happened, these two holidays basically merged into what we can call September 17th buddies. Because the name I Am an American Day was a bit long, it was renamed Citizenship Day and moved to match the exact birthday of the ultimate rulebook. So it's now a double federal holiday. We get to celebrate the amazing document that outlines our government, and simultaneously, we celebrate being full, active members of the nation that it protects. Which brings us to the end of our breakdown, but I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. The Constitution isn't just history. It is an active promise made to we, the people. It outlines the freedoms that belong to you right now. So, which of your rights will you exercise today? Think about it, active citizens. If you found this structured breakdown helpful, exercise your right to share this explainer with someone else who loves to learn. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for focusing in with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.